The architect died in this room tonight. Take the back exit. Go to Mom! Marcus, your career! Go! Police, hands in the air!
Through the old docks. Go to Mom. Tell her you love her, but you need to leave town for a couple of days. Then get the hell out of this city. Don't ever look back. Welcome to Dead End Stories, where real crimes don't just end in death. They end in the kind of silence that follows you home. The rain in Baltimore didn't wash the city clean. It just made the asphalt slick enough to reflect the neon sins of Pennsylvania Avenue. It was November 1986. The air was thick with the chemical, burnt sugar stench of a new epidemic tearing through the brick row houses, leaving a trail of hollowed-out eyes and shattered families in its wake. Marcus Vance stood in the shadow of a rusted fire escape, the collar of his trench coat pulled tight against the freezing downpour. As a lead detective with the Baltimore Police Department, Marcus was idealistic, unyielding, and desperate to save his childhood neighborhood from drowning. For months, a brilliant, ghost-like strategist known on the streets only as the Architect had been consolidating the city's fragmented drug syndicates, introducing a highly pure, devastatingly addictive strain of crack cocaine wrapped in a signature crimson ribbon. Marcus was closing in. He had tracked a major shipment to an abandoned textile warehouse by the harbor. Tonight, he was going to cut the head off the snake. Inside that very warehouse, under the harsh, buzzing hum of a single flickering halogen bulb, sat Marcus's younger brother, Leo. Leo wasn't a monster. He was a desperate man trapped in a flawless mathematical equation. 2 years prior, their mother had been diagnosed with an aggressive, degenerative illness. The medical bills was far beyond Marcus's modest city salary, threatening to evict her from the hospice care keeping her alive. Leo, a brilliant collegiate chess player and logistics czar, had made a calculated choice. Though he never used the drug, he organized it. He redesigned and streamlined the supply distribution chains via a web of intricate and intelligent network. He managed the syndicates like a corporate enterprise and funneled every dollar that accrues to him into anonymous medical escrow accounts under their mother's name. He kept his hands clean of blood, believing his intellect shielded his soul. But tonight, the board was resetting. Leo sat at a metal table, staring at a ledger, when his burner phone rang. The voice on the other end was cold, synthesized, and utterly detached, the anonymous plug who supplied the pure product. "The police are outside," the voice said. "Your brother is leading the raid." Leo's heart hammered against his ribs. "Then call it off. Divert the shipment." "No," the voice replied, a chilling finality in the tone. "The trap is set, Leo. Your brother has become too loud in the department. If he dies tonight, the city blames a drug deal gone wrong and your mother's treatment continues as scheduled. If you try to save him, the funds freeze and she dies by morning. Play your piece, Architect." The line went dead. The realization hit Leo like a physical blow. The shadow organization funding him didn't just want a distributor. They wanted a pawn to eliminate an uncorruptible cop. They had intentionally engineered a collision course between two brothers. Outside, minutes later, Leo had a massive crash on the warehouse doors as it splintered open. Marcus moved through the dark cavernous space with his service weapon drawn, his boots splashing in the puddles forming on the cracked concrete floor. Shadowy figures fled into the darkness, gunshots echoing through the rafters, but Marcus ignored the foot soldiers. He pressed deeper into the loading bays, drawn by a flickering light in the back office. He kicked the office door open, his gun raised, his voice a commanding roar. "Police, don't move!" The figure slowly turned around. The humidity in the room seemed to freeze. Marcus's hand shook, the heavy steel of his revolver suddenly weighing 1,000 pounds. Standing before him, surrounded by brick-sized packages tied in crimson ribbons, was Leo. "Leo," Marcus whispered, his voice cracking, the strict armor of a police detective completely disintegrating. What is this? What are you doing here?" Leo raised his hand slowly, his face pale, tears cutting tracks through the grime on his cheeks. "I'm paying for Mom." "Marcus, every single treatment, the experimental drugs, the private room, the breathing machines. Where did you think that anonymous medical grant came from? A miracle?" The psychological weight of the truth crashed down on Marcus. The very system he served had failed his family, forcing his brother to become the monster Marcus had sworn to destroy. Every promotion Marcus had chased, every night he had spent tracking the Architect, He was inadvertently hunting his own flesh and blood. "Drop the gun, Marcus," Leo said softly, his voice trembling as he looked toward the high windows. "They're watching us. If you don't take me out, or if I don't eliminate you, they will kill us both. And Mom dies tomorrow. They engineered this. We're just the cleanup crew for a game that was rigged right from the start." Suddenly, a red laser sight danced across the concrete floor, rising up to rest squarely on Marcus's chest, a sniper, positioned in the rafters by the Shadow Organization to ensure the execution went as planned. The brothers looked at each other. In that split second, the 1980s epidemic wasn't a macro statistic on the evening news. It was a razor-thin line between sibling loyalty and survival. "I'm not letting them have you," Marcus said, his eyes locking on to Leo's with absolute conviction. "And I'm not letting you die for my sins," Leo countered. In a seamless, explosive motion, Leo lunged forward, not to attack his brother, but to tackle him out of the path of the sniper's line of sight. A deafening gunshot echoed through the warehouse, shattering the glass panels above. Marcus rolled on the wet concrete, firing 3 rapid shots up into the dark rafters, sending a shadowed figure crashing down into the crates below. The immediate threat was gone, but the neon flashing lights of arriving police cruisers were already painting the warehouse walls in rhythmic pulses of red and blue. Marcus stood up, his uniform soaked in sweat and rain. He looked at the ledgers, the Crimson Ribons, and then at Leo. If he arrested Leo, the Shadow Organization would ensure he never made it to trial, and their mother's care would vanish. If he let him go, Marcus was violating every oath he had ever taken. Marcus walked over to the metal table, grabbed a heavy iron wrench, and smashed the warehouse's rear electrical breaker, plunging the back half of the building into pitch darkness. He walked back to his brother, grabbing Leo by the collar of his jacket, pulling him close until their foreheads almost touched. "The architect died in this room tonight," Marcus whispered, his voice thick with a mixture of grief and unyielding love. "Take the back exit through the old docks. Go to Mom. Tell her you love her, and then get out of this city. Don't ever look back, Marcus. Your career, your life. Go!" Marcus yelled, pushing him into the shadows. Seconds later, backup officers burst into the room, their flashlights cutting through the thick smoke. They found Detective Marcus Vance standing alone in the dark, surrounded by seized contraband wrapped in crimson ribbons, his face bleeding from a superficial glass scrape, his eyes completely hollow. He had saved his neighborhoods from its biggest onslaught, paid the ultimate price of his own integrity, and protected the blood bond that no epidemic could ever corrupt or compromise. Indeed, he did stay true to himself and the family he loved so much. If indeed you did enjoy this psychologically thrilling and exciting story, kindly click and subscribe to Darkened Stories.